Imagine each sentence that you say when you're talking with somebody, you construct not just as a means to convey basic information, but as an opportunity to leave a lasting impression, to elevate the ordinary to extraordinary, and to connect more deeply with those around us. The difference between a forgettable conversation and a memorable one often lies in the richness of our vocabulary. The true artistry of language lies not in using the most complicated words, but in selecting those that best reflect the depth and nuance of our thoughts. Today, I will tell you 30 words and phrases that can transform your everyday vocabulary. They will help you craft more vivid, more compelling expressions of your thoughts and help you sound classy and refined. By substituting mundane, boring, everyday words with these new words, you will improve your elegance in speech in no time. Elegance is not about how much money you've got or how expensive your clothes are. Anyone can achieve elegance with just some regard to basic etiquette. It's not difficult at all. It's actually quite doable. And we're going to learn it today, okay? It starts with your words, it starts with presentation. Elegance is all about how you present yourself. Start incorporating some basic polite vocabulary in your day-to-day life. Start using more of please, thank you, may I help you, could you help me? Use them enough so that they become your second nature. So this is like a basic tip before we get into the 30 words and phrases that I've got for you. Be a little more polite in your demeanor, in your language, in your overalls. Now let's start with the list. The first one that I have on the list for you is perhaps. Perhaps means maybe. So instead of using maybe, you could use perhaps. It's going to elevate your speech. It means the same, but it sounds more elegant. Can be used in beginning, mid, or in the end of the sentence. Something like, perhaps we could start the meeting. Or we could perhaps consider taking a different approach. Or could you help me with this puzzle, perhaps? Something like that, okay? Next word on the list is rather. This is a very interesting choice if you can make often. So instead of using quite in a sentence, you could use rather. I'll show you how. Consider a few examples with me here. Rather lovely day. Instead of saying it's quite pretty, you can say it's rather pretty. So it's quite pretty, it's rather pretty. Rather sounds just more elevated, just sounds more elegant. When you're making a choice, again, you could use the word rather. I'd rather have tea than coffee. Next one is jolly. Jolly, yes. I remember we used to paint a jolly on our hands, yeah, in childhood. You remember that? A little dot, that game, yeah. So that is a word. And I'm sure you must have heard of this word. Jolly means happy, cheerful, or very pleasant. Now, the words that you have to use are either jolly good or jolly bad. Instead of using the word very, we are quite accustomed to using the word very too much. Very good, very bad, very tight, very loose, very this, very that. And in a way, it has become redundant. It's become monotonous, and it's something that all the people are saying all the time. So if you want to sound a little different, you could probably start using jolly instead of very. So instead of saying very good, you could say jolly good. Very bad, jolly bad. Jolly good weather, jolly good party. That's a jolly good idea you've come up with. Next, I think. We say that a lot. I think. Instead of saying I think, you could say I'm not going to lie. Or you could say in all honesty. So if the sentence is I think you look good in this dress, you could say I'm not going to lie, you look good in this dress. Or in all honesty, you look good in this dress. Okay? All right. Next one on the list is utterly. Utterly. Utterly can be used instead of totally or completely. So instead of using totally or completely, you could substitute it with utterly. Utterly disappointed in her, utterly confused, utterly amazed. The silence in the forest was utterly peaceful. So utterly is actually a very strong adjective. So you need to be a little conscious and aware when you're using this word. So just a little conscious because sometimes it has a negative connotation. So it probably would not fit every word. But yes, it will still go along with a lot of words that we use in our day-to-day language. All right, the next one is indeed. Indeed. Indeed in place of correct or right. You're right. Instead of saying you're right, you could say indeed. This is used to add emphasis or convey agreement. Formal attire suits office environment. Indeed. This app is amazing indeed. He is indeed an expert in his field. Or if somebody else says something, the app is amazing. You could just reply back instead of saying, yeah, correct, or yeah, you're right. You could say, indeed. You get the idea. Next one is nevertheless. Very good word. Start using it. This word indicates contrast or to add a point. That's when you use nevertheless. It was raining. Nevertheless, we decided to go hiking. So you're showing a contrast. It was raining, but instead of staying back because of the rain, you decided to go hiking. So that is where you use the word nevertheless. You're showing contrast. All right. Something like she was very tired, but she went to the concert nevertheless. Okay. Next one. Thus or hence. I don't know, some time ago, I used this word and somebody else was impressed. To me, I did not know it's something that can sound impressive. But yeah, they picked it and they mentioned, oh wow, you used a good word there. So I thought I'm going to add this one to this list. Thus or hence is quite fashionable. It's quite elegant. If you could use it, would be really great for you. This indicates a conclusion. He failed to submit his assignment on time. Thus, he received a lower grade. Or she has not replied to my messages. Hence, my concern. You get the idea, right? Next is furthermore or moreover. Again, two very good words that very few people use, and I think nobody really uses. But this is often there in textbooks. When you read books, these words are very common there. But in our common day-to-day language, we often forget using these words, furthermore or moreover. These are used to add information. Instead of also, you could use these two words. I'll give you a few examples. She's a great friend and furthermore, a brilliant scholar. Next one, the plan is risky. Moreover, it's expensive. So the plan is risky and also expensive. So instead of saying also expensive, you could say the plan is risky. Moreover, it's expensive. Okay, next one, somewhat. It's one of my most favorite ones because it's really simple, but it really, really adds a lot of elegance to how you're talking. So somewhat is used when you want to say something that is less than very, okay? Somewhat angry, somewhat sad, somewhat happy. That means little less than very angry, little less than very sad or very happy. So you're somewhere little lower than very, the stage of very, okay? The movie was somewhat longer than I expected. So it wasn't very long, but it was still longer, somewhat longer, okay? Next is subsequently. This indicates something happening after something else. Okay, I'll give you an example. He missed his flight and subsequently arrived late to the meeting. Get it? Right? So subsequently, you are mentioning two events one after the other. All right? He missed the flight, subsequently arrived late to the meeting. All right, next one. Many people, this is a common observation that I've made. People say, I'm going to the toilet or I'm going to use the bathroom. But it does not really sound very elegant because people don't need to know what you're going to do. It's your private affair. The toilet is a very private word and you should avoid using it in public. Rather, you could say lavatory. Okay, I want to go and use the lavatory. Or you could say powder room. Powder room is also all right. Or loo. Loo is also okay. However, loo is very informal. I would rather, if in a formal setting, I would suggest lavatory or powder room, best. Now, powder room is more for ladies. So for men, I would say just use the word lavatory. Could you direct me to the lavatory, please? All right. Next one, an amazing word nobody uses, but they should. I don't know why. This is albeit. Albeit. It's a sophisticated way to say although or even though. The journey was exciting, albeit a little scary. So instead of saying the journey was exciting, although it was a little scary, you choose to say the journey was exciting, albeit a little scary. All right. Next is novel. Novel. Novel can be used instead of the word new. Yeah, it's nice. Start using. Novel solution to the problem, the novel approach. You get the idea, all right? So it's just simple replacement of the word new with novel. Next one that you should start using right away is meticulous. Meticulous. Meticulous means showing great attention to detail, very careful, very precise. That is where you use meticulous. Her meticulous planning ensured the event's success. He was meticulous in his research. All right, next, impeccable. Impeccable. Start using it right away. This word is getting common these days, but still not so common. Impeccable means something that is flawless. Her taste in music is impeccable. The service at the hotel was impeccable. Okay, next one, quintessential. Quintessential is again a word that I have recently started to hear a lot, but still common people like us are still not using it very often. So you should just pick this word up in your day-to-day vocabulary. Try and use it for a few times and then you'll get comfortable with the word. It's a lengthy word, but is a very good word. So you could use quintessential instead of perfect. Okay, but quintessential, I'll tell you how to use it in a sentence. So this represents the most perfect or typical example of a quality or a class. This book is the quintessential guide to gardening. Okay, so quintessential is an adjective, it goes with a noun. Okay, he's a quintessential actor. This book is quintessential guide to gardening. So this is the perfect guide to gardening. Instead of saying perfect guide, you're saying quintessential guide. Okay, so use it as an adjective. You are quintessential? No, that's incorrect usage. All right, use it in the way it is supposed to be used. Next one, again a very good word, pragmatic. Pragmatic instead of the word practical. So instead of saying, oh, she's practical in her approach, you could say she's pragmatic in her approach. Pragmatic means dealing with things sensibly rather than theoretical concepts. We need a more pragmatic solution to this problem. All right. Next is benevolent. Again, a great word for a very simple word, which is kind. Instead of using the word kind, you could use benevolent. The benevolent owner helped many in need. Okay. Next is conversely. Conversely is one of my favorite ones on the list. Instead of but, you could use conversely. This indicates a contrast or when you have to mention an opposite. Okay, opposite of something. He likes to travel. Conversely, his wife prefers to stay at home. So what you're trying to say here is he likes to travel, but his wife prefers to stay at home. So instead of using but, you're using a slightly lengthier word, conversely. Now the next one is a very simple replacement that you can just quickly pick up right away. So instead of saying you're welcome, because it's really boring now to hear everybody keep saying you're welcome, you're welcome. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Welcome. No, how about you say, I know you do the same for me. Such a great way to say you're welcome. I know you do the same for me. Or there's one more thing that I do very often in my life. When somebody says thank you to me, I say thank you back to them. So they say, thank you for coming. I'd say, thank you for inviting me. Okay, instead of saying, oh, you're welcome. Right? So thank you can also be a reply to thank you. Another phrase could be, no problem. No problem. This is very common for native speakers of English. So this is also something that you could start saying instead of you're welcome, you're welcome all the time. Next one, again, a great word, getting common day by day. It is ubiquitous. I've mentioned this word quite many times on my Instagram. I make videos on different words and vocabulary and stuff, and those videos do really, really well. So in case you're not connected with me over there, you're most welcome, right? So ubiquitous is a word that I have often mentioned in my previous videos, in my reels. Ubiquitous means present everywhere, okay? Appearing or found everywhere. Coffee shops are ubiquitous in the city, right? Usage of AI is ubiquitous these days. Get it, right? Next one is compelling. Compelling. Now, compelling is a great word, but at the same time, you have to learn how to use the word accurately, all right? Because it will not fit everywhere. Compelling is something that's very interesting and that captures your attention. But be careful, this isn't a synonym of interesting. Your presentation was compelling. That means your presentation made me think about it, okay? Compelling is when it made me do something, either intentionally or unintentionally, okay? I am compelled to do something in return. So your presentation was compelling means that it made me think about the issue. It made me think about what you were talking because it was compelling, all right? So it's not a synonym of interesting, but it is a wonderful replacement of the word interesting in several scenarios. Her argument was so compelling that it changed my mind. See, the argument was compelling, so something happened because of that. So generally the word compelling would be used when something happens because of the thing that is mentioned in the sentence. The novel's plot was compelling and kept me hooked. You get it? All right, next is keen. Again, nice word. Start using. This shows eagerness, enthusiasm. He's very keen on learning new languages. Her keen observation skills. You get it, right? So instead of saying she observes very enthusiastically, you could say she has some very keen observation skills. All right? Next is awfully. Awfully. Again, an elegant word. Now, awful is a bad word. Awful is very, very bad. Something is very bad, you say it's awful. But awfully as an adverb is not a bad word. It's just a simple replacement for the word very or really. Awfully kind, awfully rude. He was awfully late to the meeting. Okay? Awfully, very. He was really late for the meeting. He was awfully late for the meeting. Again, one more word, though I don't have it on my list, but since I'm talking about awfully, I will quickly pass the information midway. Terribly is also a word you could use here instead of using very, 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 very all the time. So instead of saying very, very, very all the time, you could say awfully or terribly. Next is atrocious. Atrocious. Now, atrocious is a wonderful word which has a very simple meaning. Atrocious means something that is very, very bad, very bad. Atrocious handwriting. I couldn't understand a word. The conditions in the hospital were atrocious. Okay, very, very bad, atrocious. Next is a boore. A boore. He's such a boore, which means a boring person. Or it could also be used for mentioning about an event. Dinner parties without games are a bore. He's such a bore at times, always talking about the same things. Okay, next is a helping. This is one of the best ones on the list. A helping. What does a helping mean? A helping is a serving of food. I'll teach you how to use it in a sentence. I had a pretty big helping of dessert the other night. It was lovely. May I have another helping of that delicious cake? Nice? Okay, moving on. Just a few more left. God forbid. God forbid. This is a way of saying you hope something doesn't happen. God forbid her marriage breaks. God forbid something happens to him on his trip. Next one, courteous. Courteous, instead of using the word respectful or well behaved, we're quite habitual of using the word respectful too much. Rather, we could use courteous, right? A courteous young man. He's such a courteous young man. Or she's really courteous in her ways, right? Now, the last one on the list is, and this is not actually 30th, this is 31st. Yeah. I did mention 30, but these are actually 31 on the list. Instead of saying, how are you? How are you? How are you? All the time. What you could do is just simply say, how have you been? Or how is everything? Right? How have you been? How is everything? Start practicing instead of saying, how are you? Incorporating these words into your daily vocabulary can subtly elevate the elegance of your language, making it richer and more nuanced without alienating your audience. So that was all in this video. I really hope you learned something. This is something that I have created for my lovely audience. I know you guys really appreciate such videos, so here it is. I've worked very hard on creating this one. I really, really hope you learn something and you start using these words and elevate your language and elevate your confidence and, you know, refine yourself. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Please take care of yourself. Bye bye.